Hey, what's up everybody? It's me, Strange, right here in the dim glow of my studio. The one place in this whole rotten town where the truth doesn't get buried under glitter and NDAs. Pull up a chair, turn the lights down low, because tonight on Dirty Hollywood we're cracking open the vault on something that has the entire entertainment machine scrambling for damage control like never before. Imagine this. It's Wednesday night, March 4th, 2026, just past 9:30 in the evening. The 101 freeway slicing through Ventura County, California, right near Newbury Park. Not even a stone's throw from Britney Spears' quiet little spot in Thousand Oaks. Dispatch radios are lighting up like a Christmas tree on fire. Callers are panicked, voices shaking over the line. Black BMW speeding like a demon, weaving in and out of lanes. Erratic braking, swerving hard, no taillights flickering in the dark. One operator repeats it clear as day in that leaked audio that's now blasting all over the internet. Black BMW sedan in and out of lanes, speeding. Another voice chimes in, erratic braking, swerving and driving with no tail light. This ain't some random joyrider. This is a 2026 black BMW convertible out of LA, flying southbound near the Borchardt Road exit. CHP units are scrambling. All units, they say, get down there now. And then the pullover happens at 9:28, 9:30 tops. Sirens flashing, lights painting the asphalt red and blue. The driver steps out, alone in the car. And officers see it immediately. Signs of impairment, big time. Field sobriety tests, right there on the shoulder. They even call in a drug recognition expert, because this doesn't smell like just booze. Blood gets drawn at a hospital minutes later. No injuries, just straight to the needle for that full toxicology cocktail. Booked into Ventura County Jail at 3:02 in the morning. Released 6:07 a.m. the next day. Cite and release. Court date set for May 4th. But come on, we all know that's just the surface. The real story, the one Hollywood's desperately trying to bury, starts way before that black BMW ever hit the freeway. And we're about to dig until we hit bone. Let me take you back, because to understand how the fuck this even happened in 2026, you gotta know the girl who became the pop princess, who became the prisoner, who finally broke free. Only to end up here, handcuffed on the side of the road, with the whole world watching again. Britney Jean Spears was born December 2nd, 1981 in Kentwood, Louisiana. Tiny town, dirt roads, the kind of place where dreams either die young or explode like fireworks. Her family? Broke as hell. Dad, Jamie Spears, a building contractor who struggled, heavy drinker. From what she laid out raw in his memoir years later. Mom, Lynn, the one holding it together with dance classes, starting when Britney was just 3 years old. Little Britney twirling in the living room, belting out songs already that spark that made people stop and stare. By 11, she was auditioning for the Mickey Mouse Club, got rejected first time, crushed, but came back at 12 and nailed it. That's where it all began for real, on that show with Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, Ryan Gosling. The mouse ears hit the grind, the pressure, the way the industry starts molding kids before they even know what the word exploitation means. Fast forward to 1997. Dive Records signs her at 15. 1999, baby, one more time, drops and the world loses its damn mind. That schoolgirl outfit, the pigtails, the video that launched a million fantasies and $1 billion. She was 17, number 1 on the charts, touring non-stop, smiling for cameras while the machine chewed her up. Interviews from back then, she talks about it light, but you can hear the exhaustion even in the old clips. I just want to sing and dance, she says in one. But behind the scenes, word on the street from people who were in those early rooms, the label was pushing her hard. Image control, diet control, no boyfriends on the record. Pure pop perfection or else. She dated Justin for years, that clean teen romance everyone ate up. Broke up in 2002 and the tabloids went feral. But that was nothing compared to what was coming. By 2005, married Kevin Federwine after a whirlwind romance. Two kids back to back, Sean Preston and Jaden James. The public saw the happy family photos, but insiders whispered it was cracking. Kevin, the backup dancer turned husband, the one who allegedly leaked texts later, the fights, the custody battles that got ugly. Then 2007 hits like a freight train. This is where shit gets truly fucked up, folks. February, she is at a spa in Tarzana with her boys, loses custody temporarily. March, head shaved bald in a salon, razor in her hand, eyes dead in those paparazzi shots. Everyone called it a meltdown. But let's be real for a second. After years of non-stop work since she was a kid, postpartum, custody wars, the paparazzi stalking her every move, flashing cameras in her face while she is holding a baby. People who were close swear the industry turned its back. No help, just headlines. Umbrella incident in a gas station parking lot, swinging at photographers. Then, the night she locked herself in a bathroom with her kid. The 2 a.m. police call, 5150 hold, psychiatric evaluation. That's when her dad Jamie steps in, files for conservatorship. 13 years of hell begins. Court docs from those days painted as protection, but Britney later called it a prison. They controlled her money, her career, her body, her phone, her friends. She couldn't even drive without approval for a while. Forced to perform while doped up on lithium, she claimed in her book. Voice cracking in old interviews, I just want my life back, but the machine kept spinning. Albums dropped, tours sold out, millions poured in. Who made the cash? Jamie and the team, raking it while she danced like a puppet. Word on the street from insiders, still scared to talk on record. The conservatorship wasn't just about her supposed instability. It was about control, billions at stake, her catalog, her brand, her image. Fans started the Free Britney movement around 2019. Protests outside the courthouse, hashtags everywhere. Court hearings dragged on. 2021, she finally testifies. That bombshell speech, I was in shock, I was traumatized. They wouldn't let me have an IUD removed. Forced birth control. My dad said if I didn't perform, I'd be in a mental hospital. The judge ends it. Freedom at last. Or so we thought. She posted on Instagram dancing in her kitchen, no filter, raw as hell. Marries Sam Asghari in 2022. Book comes out, The Woman in Me, 2023. Sells millions, spills everything. The abortion she had with Justin, the conservatorship horrors. Hollywood pretends to applaud. But let's pause here, because even in freedom, the cracks were showing. Divorces Sam in 2024 after a rough patch, rumors of partying creep back. Insiders who were in the room swear the post-conservatorship freedom hit like a drug itself. No boundaries after 13 years locked down. Therapy, sure, but the industry? They moved on to the next shiny thing. No real support network, just enablers and ghosts. And here's where the timeline starts tightening like a noose, leading straight to the 2026 freeway nightmare. Late 2025, she sells part of her music catalog for a reported 200 million or more. Big payday, right? But people close to her say the stress was insane. Legal fights lingering with her family, IRS breathing down her neck over old taxes. That restraining order she just got against some Louisiana stalker who showed up at her house after creepy social media posts. She takes down her Instagram around the arrest time. Fans notice. Then March 4th rolls around. Normal day? Not according to the dispatch. She is alone in that black BMW, no security, no driver. Why? After everything she's been through, why is she behind the wheel at night on the freeway, weaving like that? Police say high speeds, erratic as hell, signs of impairment clear enough, they don't even wait. Field tests fail, drug expert called in, blood at the hospital confirms the cocktail. Alcohol plus drugs. Combined influence California vehicle codes, straight up. Not just a bus, something hairier. Toxicology pending full release, but the DA's office is already reviewing. Her rep, Kate Hudson, puts out the statement. This was an unfortunate incident that is completely inexcusable. She intends to take the right steps and comply with the law. Hopes it's the first step in a long overdue change that needs to occur in Britney's life. Sounds supportive on the surface. But let's be real for a second. Long overdue change after everything smells like they're already positioning for round 2 of Control. Now the leaked texts. Her longtime friend and former assistant Sean Phillip, the guy who's been in her corner for 2 decades, gets the message right after. All I texted her was, "Are you okay?" And she said, "I'm okay, I'm okay." He got her permission to talk on Good Morning Britain and Extra. But then he sounds the alarm, calls the whole arrest suspicious, urges a huge change. People who watched those interviews swear there's more he's not saying. Insiders whisper she was emotional in the jail cell that night, TMZ sources claim. She was crying, breaking down like the old days. Ex-husband Sam Asghari, fresh off the divorce, steps out at an Oscar party and says he has the utmost love and respect for her. Classy on camera. But the dark question Hollywood is still hiding. Why did no one step in sooner? Where were the handlers, the friends with real power? After the conservatorship trauma she wrote about so raw, after the book that exposed it all, why is the industry silent now? No big interventions, no public support from the stars who used to call her sister. Just radio silence while the tabloids feast again. Word on the street from people still scared to go on record. This cocktail wasn't random. Prescription stuff mixed with alcohol, echoes of the old lithium days they forced on her. Stress from the catalog sale, family drama, the stalker scare. Freedom looked good on Instagram, but behind closed doors, the isolation hit hard. Hollywood loves a comeback story until it turns into a relapse story. Then they bury it or exploit it. And here we are, 2026, with dispatch audio proving the erratic driving, the swerving that could have killed someone, and the questions piling up. Was this a cry for help, a setup, or just the inevitable crash after 13 years of chains finally snapped? But wait, you think that's the full picture? Oh no, we are just getting started peeling this onion, and the layers are filthy. Because to really understand why Britney ended up on that freeway that night, we have to go deeper into the machine that built her, broke her, and now seems content to watch her spiral in slow motion while counting the streams. The childhood in Kentwood wasn't just poor, it was the kind of broke where dinner sometimes didn't happen. That's drinking, the fights, Britney dancing her way out at 3, 4, 5 years old, mom driving her to auditions, the family pinning every hope on this little blonde girl with a big voice. Mickey Mouse Club at 12. She lived in Orlando, away from home, surrounded by adults who saw dollar signs. Justin was there, young love blooming under the lights. But the pressure, non-stop rehearsals, image perfect, no room for mistakes. When the show ended, Jive snaps her up. Baby One More Time recorded when she was 16. Video directed to make her look sexy but innocent. Sales explode. She is the #1 teen idol overnight. Tours, interviews, every move watched. Old clips show her saying in 2000, "I don't want to grow up too fast." But she already had. 19, "Oops, I did it again." 21, Britney, the hits kept coming. But the breakdowns? They started small. Paparazzi chasing her car, flashing lights causing panic, then Kevin. The wedding in 2005, Quickie in Vegas first, then the real one. Kids come fast, postpartum hits hard, she admits later. Custody war with Kevin gets nasty, texts leak where he calls her unstable. 2007, the head shave. Salon in Tarzana. She grabs the clippers herself. Paparazzi outside screaming questions. She walks out bald, eyes hollow. Next day, umbrella attack on a car. Then the bathroom standoff with her son. 5150, Jamie files the papers. Conservatorship granted September 2008. 13 years. She couldn't vote, couldn't marry without approval at first, couldn't see her kids freely sometimes. Forced performances while medicated. In her book she details the lithium that made her feel dead inside. Court transcripts from the fight to end it, her lawyer reading her words. "My life has been controlled. I couldn't even choose my own therapist." The judge in 2021 finally listens. Conservatorship terminated. Cheers from fans outside. Britney posts freedom dances. But here's the nuance Hollywood ignores. Freedom after that long doesn't come with a manual. Therapy, yes, but the trust issues? massive. Friends she lost during the conservatorship years. Family fractured. Dead Jamie still fighting her in courts over old stuff. The money flowed again, but so did the loneliness. Marriage to Sam. Cute at first, but cracks by 2023. Divorce final 2024. No kids with him. Her boys now teens, living with Kevin mostly. She talks about missing them in the book. Recent years, 2025 catalog deal with Primary Wave or whoever for that huge payout. But insiders say it brought all demons. Legal teams, negotiations, the weight of her legacy. The Louisiana stalker, permanent restraining order granted just weeks before the arrest. Creepy posts showing up at the house. She was rattled. And then, the night of March 4th, alone, BMW, freeway. What triggered it? Alcohol at home? Pills for anxiety? The combination that cops suspected immediately. Dispatch audio captures the chaos before they even knew it was her. Callers describing the swerving like a drunk driver on steroids, high speeds, nearly causing accidents. When they pull her over, she complies but fails the tests. Hospital for blood. No comment from her yet. Beyond that, I am okay, text to Sean. But Sean on camera, eyes wide, saying it's suspicious. Why? He won't elaborate fully, but the subtext screams. Someone who knows her for 20 years thinks this arrest feels off. Set up, relapse under pressure, or just life after trauma catching up. Let's zoom in on the scene that night, because reconstructing it like a crime thriller is the only way to see the betrayal. Picture the freeway at dusk, turning dark. Britney behind the wheel of that shiny new BMW, maybe blasting her own music or something to drown out the noise in her head. Windows down, taillights out, one report says. Erratic braking as cars honk, weaving across lanes, speedometer climbing past 80, 90. Call comes into dispatch around 8:48. Black BMW, southbound, 101, erratic. Units respond. Pull over at 9:28. Officers approach. She is alone, no passenger to blame. Out of the car. Speech slurred, balance off, the field test, walk the line, follow the pen, all the classics. Fails. Drug expert rolls up. They suspect the combo right away. Alcohol on breath plus something else. Hospital, run for the draw. She's emotional, TMZ claims from sources inside. Crying in the back of the cruiser maybe. Booked at 3 a.m. that sterile jail cell in Ventura County. Fingerprints, mugshot, the works. Released hours later with a court date. No bail drama because it's cite and release for now. But the DA will decide charges based on the blood. Misdemeanor DUI or felony if levels high. Combined influence means heavier penalties. And the dark questions: why is Hollywood still hiding the enablers? Where were the managers who made millions of her during the conservatorship? The friends who partied with her post-freedom but didn't say stop. The industry that profits from child stars then discards them when the cracks show. Britney's story isn't unique, look at all the others, but hers is the blueprint. From Kentwood to global icon, to conservatorship victim, to free woman spiraling again. The motive for the silence now? Simple. Bad PR for the machine. If they admit the system failed her twice, once in control and once in freedom, it opens floodgates for every other star with NDAs. So they whisper, let the rumors fly, but no real intervention. Fans on social media already screaming about bringing back the conservatorship. Others defending her, saying leave her alone. XM staying classy, Sean pushing for change, but the real dirt, the unconfirmed whispers from people who were in rooms over the years, that the cocktail was Xanax or whatever she's been prescribed mixed with wine or vodka, stress from the stalker, or maybe something darker, a setup by someone wanting to discredit her latest moves. We don't know yet, but one thing's clear, this arrest isn't the end. It's the explosion that forces everything into the light. The Fu biography ties it all. Childhood trauma fueling the drive. Fame at 15 warping her brain. Breakdown at 25 because no one protected the kid inside. 13 years robbed of autonomy. Freedom in her 40s trying to rebuild, but the scars run deep. Marriages, kids, book, catalog sales, all attempts at normal. But normal doesn't exist in Hollywood. The betrayal, her own family in the conservatorship, profiting. The industry using her image forever. The fans loving her until the next headline. And now, 2026, that black BMW becomes a symbol. Erratic driving not just on the road, but through life. Alcohol and drugs, the escape after everything. Police audio, the proof it was real. And the questions Hollywood hides. Who really benefits if she crashes again? Who stands to lose if she stays strong? We are talking millions in residuals, tours, merch. The machine doesn't want a stable Britney. It wants the drama that sells. That's the raw truth we are uncovering here. But hold on, because the players connected to this moment, the ones who stepped back and cashed checks, they're about to come into focus next, as we dig even deeper into the post-arrest scramble and the secrets still buried in those toxicology reports. And the secrets still buried in those toxicology reports are the kind that could blow the lid off everything the machine has spent the last 20 years whitewashing. Because the first knife in the back didn't come from some random cop on the side of the 101 freeway. It came from the man who once swore to love her forever. The same guy who's now cashing royalty checks while she sits in a holding cell wondering how the hell she got here again. Kevin Federline. Let me paint this picture for you exactly as it went down in the months leading up to that March 4th disaster, because this is where the timeline turns from sad to straight up sinister. October 2025. Kevin drops his own little memoir, calls it You Thought You Knew. Self-published, low-key at first, but the excerpts hit like a grenade. He claims Britney was doing lines of cocaine in the bathroom while breastfeeding their first son back in 2006. He describes her waving a kitchen knife around the house, screaming at him in front of the kids. He paints her as the unstable one, the party girl who never grew up. People who were around back then swear on everything. The stories are twisted, half-truths at best, revenge at worst. But the damage immediate. Britney's camp goes nuclear in private. Texts leak between her and her inner circle. One from a friend who shall remain nameless says, "He's doing this for the money, he always has." Kevin's book sells just enough to keep him relevant. And suddenly the tabloids are dredging up every old custody fight again. Fast forward 3 months, Britney's still reeling. The Louisiana stalker is showing up at her gate with printed out old photos of her bald head era, posting on social media that she owes him her soul or some cult level crazy. She files for the permanent restraining order in January 2026, granted in February, but the stress, it's written all over her face in the last few paparazzi shots before she went dark. Insiders who were in the house that week swear she was barely sleeping, mixing wine with whatever the doctor prescribed for the anxiety that never really left after the conservatorship. And here's where shit gets truly fucked up. Kevin's book wasn't just a cash grab. Word on the street from people still terrified to attach their names, it was timed. Time to coincide with her catalog sale closing. $200 million on the table. If she looked unstable again, certain family members and certain lawyers could circle back for another bite. Motive clear as day. Now let's talk about the dead. Jamie Spears, the building contractor from Kentwood who turned his daughter's breakdown into a 13-year golden goose. Born in 1952, same tiny Louisiana town. Work construction, heavy drinker, just like Britney described in her book. He filed for the conservatorship in 2008 when she was at her lowest, and the court handed him the keys to the kingdom. Over the years, he pulled in millions. Conservatorship fees, salary as co-conservator, control over every tour, every endorsement. Court documents from the fight to end it show he was making over $200,000 a year just to manage her. When Britney testified in 2021, she laid it out raw. My dad told me if I didn't do the shows, I'd be locked up in a mental facility. He controlled my birth control. He took my phone. He wouldn't let me see my kids without supervision sometimes. Jamie fought back hard, tried to keep it going. Even after it ended, he sued her for legal fees, claimed she owed him millions. As of 2025, they were still in court over all tax issues and estate stuff. People who were in those family meetings swear Jamie never let go. Even after freedom, he texts her managers trying to get back in the loop. And after the arrest, crickets from him publicly, but a source close to the family, still scared to talk on record, told me Jamie was on the phone to lawyers within hours of the booking. Not to help her, to protect his own ass in case this triggers another conservatorship push. Because if Britney looks out of control again, guess who benefits? The same guy who made band the first time. Her mom Lynn? Different story, but just as layered. Lynn Irene Bridges Spears, born 1955, the one who drove little Britney to every dance class, every audition. She wrote her own book in 2008 called Through the Storm, trying to paint the family as victims of the industry. But insiders who read between the lines say it was damage control. Lynn stood by the conservatorship at first, then slowly distanced. After the termination, she tried to rebuild with Britney. They did some mother-daughter trips, posted cute Instagram stuff. But the divorce from Jamie in 2011 left scars. And the 2025 catalog sale, Lynn got a piece too, according to the trust documents that leaked last year. Not as much as Jamie, but enough. When the DUI news broke, Lynn posted a vague prayer emoji on her Instagram stories. No direct comment. Classic. Supportive on the surface, silent where it counts. Then there is the most recent ex, Sam Asghari. Iranian-born model turned actor, 20 years younger, met her on the set of a music video back in 2020. They married in 2022, seemed like the fairy tale after the conservatorship hell. He was the one who helped her move into the Thousand Oaks house, the quiet life. But cracks showed early. 2023, arguments over her posting too much, his career not taking off, divorce filed 2023, finalized 2024. No kids, no drama in court. Sam kept it classy. Right after the arrest, he's at an Oscar after party in Beverly Hills, looking sharp in a black suit, and when a reporter shoves a mic in his face, he says, "I have the utmost love and respect for Britney. She deserves privacy and support during this time." Sounds perfect, right? But let's be real for a second. People who were in their house during the marriage swear the split wasn't clean. Texts leaked during the divorce showed Sam frustrated with her partying phases. One message from him allegedly read, "You're spiraling again, I can't watch this." He denied it. But the timing? 3 days after the arrest, he's spotted having drinks with a new girl in West Hollywood. Coincidence? Or the final twist of the knife from someone who once saw her at her most vulnerable? Her rep Kate Hudson steps into the spotlight next, the guy who's been handling her public statements since the conservatorship ended. Right after the booking, he drops that carefully worded line to TMZ. "This was an unfortunate incident that is completely inexcusable. She intends to take the right steps and comply with the law. Hopes it's the first step in a long overdue change that needs to occur in Britney's life." Long overdue change. Those 4 words hit different when you know the history. Insiders swear Kate was in damage control mode before the blood results even came back. He's the same guy who helped orchestrate the book tour for The Woman in Me in 2023, the one that sold over 2 million copies and made her look strong again. But after the divorce and the stalker mess, even Kate was reportedly telling friends privately that Britney needed more help than she was getting. A leaked email chain from late 2025 shows him pushing for an intervention-style meeting with her therapist and a sober coach. She said no. Too many years of people telling her what to do, so he stayed in the background. Until the freeway. Now the friend who's actually speaking up, Sean Phillip, the assistant turned confidant, who's been with her since the early 2000s. The night of the arrest, he texts her, "Are you okay?" She replies, "I'm okay, I'm okay." He gets permission to go on Good Morning Britain the next morning, eyes red, voice cracking. "This arrest feels suspicious to me. She needs massive change." He won't say what the suspicion is, but people who watched that interview swear he was holding back tears and holding back names. Sean was the one who drove her to court during the conservatorship fight. He saw the lithium fog, he saw the forced smiles, and now he is the only one publicly saying something's off. Word on the street from people who were in the same circles. Sean thinks the cocktail in her system was prescribed anxiety meds mixed with alcohol, not street stuff. But the levels, according to the preliminary hospital report that somehow leaked to a tabloid site, showed blood alcohol at 0.08, exactly the legal limit, and traces of something stronger. The drug recognition expert called it combined influence. That's California code for you going down harder than a simple DUI. Sean's pushing for rehab, real rehab, not the celebrity spa version. But who's paying? Who's arranging? The machine that abandoned her the first time? Let's reconstruct the hours right after the pullover, because this is where the Hollywood cover-up machine kicks into high gear. 9:28 p.m, cuffs on, she's in the back of the CHP cruiser. The officer's body cam not released yet, but sources who heard the dispatch audio say she was cooperative but emotional. Tears, whispering something about just wanting to go home. No public meltdown like 2007. But the look in her eyes, according to the deputy who transported her, was the same hollow one from the old days. They take her to Ventura County Hospital for the blood draw. 2 vials, one for alcohol, one for full tox screen. Results take days, but the field tests were enough for booking. 3:02 a.m, fingerprints, mug shot in the orange jumpsuit, the whole humiliating process. Cell for a few hours, cold, concrete, the smell of disinfectant and regret. Released at 6:07 a.m. on her own recognizance. Court date May 4th. But in those hours between arrest and release, phones were blowing up. Her lawyer, the same one who helped end the conservatorship, is on the line with the DA's office trying to get ahead of charges. Managers are calling TMZ trying to spin it as a one-time thing. And the dark question nobody wants to answer out loud. Where the hell was her security detail? Britney's had round-the-clock protection since the stalker incident. Yet that night, March 4th, she is alone in the BMW. No driver, no bodyguard riding shotgun. Insiders swear she fired the last team 2 weeks earlier after an argument about privacy. She wanted normal, she wanted to drive herself like a regular person. After 13 years of someone else holding the keys, literally and figuratively, she grabbed the wheel, and it ended exactly where we are now. The toxicology rumors are already swarming like vultures. One anonymous lab tech, according to a blind item that dropped on a Hollywood gossip site the next day, said the cocktail included alcohol, benzodiazepines, and a trace of something that looked like an old prescription she had from the conservatorship era. Not street drugs, not cocaine like Kevin claimed in his book, but the mix deadly on the freeway. People who were in the room with her management swear the doctors had warned her for months about mixing. But the isolation after the divorce, the catalog stress, the restraining order paperwork, it all piled up. No one stepped in. Not her team, not her family, not the industry friends who used to text her heart emojis during the Free Britney days. Radio silence. Because let's be real for a second, a stable Britney doesn't sell magazines. A spiraling Britney, that's content for months, that's clicks, that's the machine feeding off the same girl they built and broke. We're talking about the other connected players now, the ones who made millions of her destruction and are still doing it. The lawyers who handled the conservatorship still billing her estate for old work. The record execs at Jive who pushed the sexy image when she was barely legal. The paparazzi who chased her car in 2007 until she snapped. They're all still cashing in. Her catalog sale in late 2025, Primary Wave or whoever bought it made sure the deal included clauses about her public behavior. If she looks unstable, certain payments get clawed back. Motive again. And the fans split right down the middle. Some are screaming, "Bring back the conservatorship" on Twitter. Others are trending, "Free Britney 2.0" with the dispatch audio playing in the background. But the real betrayal is the silence from the A-list. Where is Madonna? Where is Justin? Where is Christina? The people who grew up in the mouse ears with her. One tweet from a low-level celebrity saying thoughts and prayers. That's it. Hollywood protects its own until it doesn't. Then it watches the car crash and sells the footage. The timeline between freedom and this arrest is the part nobody wants to talk about, because it shatters the happy ending narrative. 2021, conservatorship ends. Cheers, tears, Instagram freedom dances. 2022, marries Sam, looks perfect. 2023, book drops, sells like crazy. She does a few interviews looking strong. 2024, divorce from Sam, quiet, no kids. She posts about self-love. 2025, catalog sale closes, huge payday, but the Louisiana stalker starts his campaign. She gets a restraining order, posts less, takes down her main Instagram feed for weeks at a time. Insiders say she was in therapy 3 times a week, but still struggling with trust. The freedom felt empty after so long without it. No structure, no forced schedule, just her, the big house in Thousand Oaks, the boys with Kevin most of the time, and the ghosts of every bad decision the industry forced on her. The night of March 4th wasn't random. It was the breaking point after years of pretending she was okay. The erratic driving, the swerving, the no taillights, the high speed, all captured on those 911 calls. She wasn't trying to hurt anyone. She was trying to feel something after being numb for so long. But the real question Hollywood is still hiding, the one that keeps executives up at night, is whether this is the beginning of round 2 of control, round 2 of someone else deciding her life for her. Because if the full toxicology comes back showing levels that scream impairment, the DA could push for mandatory rehab, maybe even supervised living. And who steps in then? Jamie? The courts? The same machine that profited the first time? Or does she fight again like she did in 2021 and expose even more dirt this time? The leaked dispatch audio is already everywhere. You can hear the panic in the callers' voices. Black BMW, erratic, swerving, no tail light. Then the confirmation, it's Britney Spears. The world froze. And in that freeze, the truth slipped out. No one protected her, not really, not after the money stopped flowing the same way. We're peeling back more layers now, because the post-arrest scramble isn't just lawyers and statements, it's the money trail, the old NDAs, the quiet settlements from the conservatorship days that are suddenly relevant again. People who signed those papers back in 2008 are getting nervous calls. Because if Britney's team decides to go public with everything, the floodgates open. And the darkest rumor of all, the one insiders whisper only after 3 drinks, is that someone close to her wanted this to happen. Not to hurt her, but to reset the narrative, to bring her back under a softer version of control. The catalog buyer, the family, the management all have reasons, motives stacked like cards in a house ready to fall. The smell of betrayal in the air that night wasn't just exhaust and cheap jail coffee. It was the same scent that's followed her since she was 15 and the label told her to shake it for the cameras. The industry built her to break. And now, 2026, with the blood results pending and the court date looming, we are watching the pieces fall exactly where they always do. On her, while everyone else counts their money and pretends to be shocked. But hold on, because we are not done exposing the full web. The next layer involves the quiet meetings happening right now in Los Angeles boardrooms, the old emails that are being deleted as we speak, and the one person who might actually hold the key to what really happened on that freeway. The one whose name hasn't even surfaced yet, but whose fingerprints are all over this. That person is none other than Matthew Rosengart, the razor-sharp attorney who flew in like a goddamn avenging angel back in 2021 and sliced through every legal chain the machine had wrapped around her neck. Picture this. It's late 2025. The catalog sale with primary wave is closing in a boardroom downtown Los Angeles. Papers stacked like poker chips worth $200 million. And suddenly Matthew gets a late-night call from her. Not about the deal, about the Louisiana stalker who's been posting screenshots of her old conservatorship medical records. Insiders who saw the email chain swear Matthew fired back immediately, drafting a new restraining order addendum and telling her team, quote, "This cannot slide into another control grab." But here is the kicker, nobody's talking about yet. After the March 4th arrest, Matthew was the first call her phone pinged at 4 a.m. from that Ventura County cell. He didn't hesitate. He's already in Ventura this week, meeting with the district attorney's office, Eric Nazarenko himself, pushing for diversion instead of straight charges. People in the room swear Matthew's playing 3-dimensional chess right now, because he knows one wrong move and the same vultures who circled in 2008 start sharpening their claws again. And while Matthew's fighting in the shadows, let's talk about the sister who's been radio silent in the most suspicious way possible, Jamie Lynn Spears. Born in 1991, the baby sister who grew up in the same Kentwood house, but never carried the same spotlight weight. She had her own 15 minutes with Zoe 101, then the reality show, then the quickie marriage and divorce. But the real story between the sisters fractured since the conservatorship days. Court files from 2021 show Jamie Lynn actually testified in support of keeping some controls in place at first. Then she flipped, wrote her own memoir in 2022 called Things I Should Have Said, spilling family tea but conveniently skipping the parts where she allegedly benefited from the estate trusts. Fast forward to 2026, the day before the arrest, March 3rd, a leaked direct message thread between Jamie Lynn and a mutual friend shows her typing, "I am worried, but she won't listen to me anymore. She's pushing everyone away again." The friend replies with a praying hands emoji. Jamie Lynn never hit send on anything public. No Instagram story, no tweet, nothing. Just crickets. People who were on that text chain swear she was on the phone with Brian Spears, the older brother who's always stayed in the background, the one running a small production company now, telling him, "If this blows up, we need to protect the boys first." Brian, born in 1977, the quiet one who managed some of her early tours before stepping back. He's been ghosting everyone since the booking, not a single comment. But according to a source still terrified to go on record, Brian received a call from Primary Wave's chief operating officer the morning after the arrest, asking if the family would support a soft intervention clause in the catalog contract. Motive? Crystal clear. If the deal has performance and behavior riders, one DUI could trigger a clawback worth tens of millions. Now the boys, Sean Preston and Jaden James Federline, 20 and 19 years old in 2026, living mostly with Kevin but spending weekends at mom's Thousand Oaks house when she's stable. They stayed out of the spotlight their whole lives, smart kids who play sports and keep low profiles. But the night of the arrest, Sean texted his dad at 10:17 p.m., according to a source who saw the phone logs. Something like, "Mom's not answering, is she okay?" Kevin apparently replied, "Stay out of it for now." The next morning, Jaden posted a private story on his Snapchat that disappeared within hours. A black screen with white text reading, "Love you always," nothing more. But people close to the family swear both boys called Matthew Rosengart directly the day after release, asking if they could visit her without cameras or handlers. That's new. That's the first time the teens have stepped into the legal arena themselves. And the betrayal angle. Kevin's been using those boys as leverage in every quiet negotiation since the divorce from Britney years ago. Now with this arrest hanging, word on the street is he's already had his attorney reach out to the district attorney's office, offering character statements if it helps push for court-ordered rehab. Not out of love, out of positioning for more custody time and the child support bump that comes with it. Let's peel the financial onion even deeper, because the Primary Wave catalog deal that closed December 2025 is the silent bomb ticking under all of this. The buyer wasn't just some faceless company. Their lead negotiator, a guy named Lawrence Mestel, the co-founder, sat across the table from her team for 6 straight weeks. The contract, according to pages that leaked to a financial blog last month, includes something called a morality clause, tied to public behavior and legal incidents. If Britney gets convicted of anything above a simple infraction, Primary Wave can renegotiate royalty percentages downward by up to 15%. That's tens of millions on the line. And after the arrest, Lawrence Mestel was on a plane to New York for an emergency meeting with their investors, according to flight records a source pulled. The question they were asking in that boardroom: does this DUI trigger the clause before the May 4th court date even hits? Insiders who overheard the call swear one executive joked, "We bought the catalog, not the chaos." Cold calculating. The same machine that paid her millions during the conservatorship years, now holding the purse strings tighter than ever. And here's a name that's been buried since 2023 but just resurfaced in the scramble: Lou Taylor, the former business manager who ran the conservatorship machine alongside Jamie. She settled a massive lawsuit with Britney in late 2025 for an undisclosed amount, reportedly over 10 million, to make all those old emails disappear. But guess what? A new batch of those emails, allegedly never deleted properly, just got forwarded to Matthew Rosengard's office the day after the DUI. One chain from 2019 shows Lou writing to Jamie, quote, "We need to keep her focused on the Vegas residency or the cash flow stops." Another from 2020 shows Lou suggesting higher medication doses to keep her compliant. Lou's been living quiet in Florida since the settlement, but sources swear her phone lit up the second the booking hit the news. She's not talking, but her former assistant is off the record, saying Lou's lawyers are already drafting a statement distancing her from any 2026 fallout. Classic. The woman who helped lock the cage now running from the key. The day of March 4th itself, the hours before the freeway, paint a picture nobody's connected yet. Britney had a morning Zoom with her therapist at 10 a.m. according to calendar leaks. Then lunch alone at a quiet Thai spot in Thousand Oaks. No alcohol on the table, witnesses say. But at 4 p.m. she had a heated phone call with a primary wave rep about final catalog paperwork. The rep, a woman named Rachel, allegedly told her the morality clause needed one last signature. Britney hung up, frustrated. Then at 6 p.m. she fired off a series of direct messages to a new name we haven't heard before, a guy named Alex, a 30-something music producer she met at a low-key studio session in January. The DM screenshots now circulating in private Hollywood groups read, "I just want to drive and clear my head. No cameras, no nothing." Alex replies, "Be safe, call if you need." She never did. Instead, she got in the BMW at 8:30 and headed south on the 101. No security, because she told her last detail 2 weeks earlier she needed space after the stalker mess. That decision, that single choice for normalcy, is what Matthew Rosengard is now calling the tragic turning point in private meetings. Post-arrest, the boardroom panic is next level. Primary Wave's legal team sent a formal letter to her camp within 48 hours demanding a status update on the blood results before they release the next royalty tranche. Matthew fired back with his own letter citing privacy laws and threatening to expose the morality clause as coercive. Meanwhile, Jamie Lynn broke her silence in the most backhanded way possible, sending a direct message to one of Britney's old backup dancers that read, "Tell her I'm here if she wants family, but no press." The dancer forwarded it straight to Matthew. Brian Spears still ghost, but his production company quietly pulled out of a small deal they had lined up with one of her former producers, citing quote, "family issues." Translation, damage control. The son's dynamic is shifting too. Jaden reportedly told a close friend at school the day after the release, "I'm old enough now to say something if they try to lock her up again." Sean's been texting Matthew directly, asking for updates on the diversion program options. These aren't little kids anymore. They're young men who watched their mom fight the machine once and they're ready to step in. Kevin's camp is already leaking stories to tabloids claiming the boys are scared and need stability with dad. Another knife, another play for control through the children. The machine is hungry and the stakes have never been higher. We'll keep watching. And the celebrity wall of silence? It's deafening but not complete. Paris Hilton, the woman who stood outside the courthouse during the Free Britney protest, posted a single black heart emoji on her stories the day after the arrest. No caption. Then deleted it 12 hours later. Christina Aguilera liked a fan account post about mental health support but didn't comment. Justin? Crickets, as always. But the real knife? A leaked text from a major A-list manager to one of Britney's former label execs, reading, "If she goes back into any kind of supervised situation, the catalog streams will skyrocket on sympathy. They're already calculating the profit from her pain. That's the industry in 2026. Not support, spreadsheets." The full talks results are still sealed, but the preliminary leak from the hospital web, the one that hit a blind item site yesterday, names the cocktail clearly now. 0.08 alcohol, plus lorazepam and a trace of an old prescription clonazepam that matches the conservatorship era scripts. Combined influence exactly as the drug recognition expert wrote on the scene report. Matthew Rosengart is already arguing in chambers that the lorazepam was prescribed and the mix was accidental after a stressful day. The district attorney's office is reviewing for any felony angle before May 4th. One wrong filing, and we're looking at possible mandatory 30-day rehab plus probation that could include random testing. And who would monitor that? The same system that once handed the keys to Jamie. The darkest new rumor floating through the back channels right now comes from a former Primary Wave intern who just quit. She claims she saw an internal memo dated March 5th, the morning after the arrest, titled Contingency Planning for Spears Behavioral Clause Activation. The memo listed potential outcomes, including recommending a voluntary conservatorship light version through a neutral third party. Not Jamie, not Lou, someone new, clean on paper, but still control. The intern swears the memo was deleted by noon, but not before she screenshotted it. That screenshot is now sitting in Matthew Rosengart's secure drive, and he's deciding whether to use it. This is the web we untangling right now. The fresh betrayals, the new players circling the wagon, the money and the family and the industry all pretending to care, while they measure how much this latest chapter is worth in streams and settlements. The 101 freeway wasn't the end of anything. It was the spark that lit the fuse on round 2 of the same war she thought she won in 2021. And the person holding the match? Still hiding in plain sight among the names we just laid out. But wait, you're not gonna believe who just got pulled into the crossfire. With a set of texts that could change everything, and the one final bombshell document that's about to drop before the May 4th court date even arrives. The one final bombshell document that's about to drop before the May 4th court date even arrives is the exact reason the entire Primary Wave executive floor in New York went into lockdown mode 48 hours ago. Picture the scene exactly as it unfolded. March 6, 2:26, 9 a.m. Eastern. Lawrence Mestel is in the glass-walled conference room on the 37th floor, sleeves rolled up, projector screen glowing with a single slide titled Spears Behavioral Contingency Activation Protocol. The memo, now leaked to Matthew Rosengart's team through that ex-intern who quit in disgust, lays it out in cold corporate language. If the blood alcohol and lorazepam levels are confirmed above the combined influence threshold, Primary Wave triggers a clause allowing them to appoint a neutral monitor for her royalty disbursements. Not Jamie, not Lou Taylor, a hand-picked third-party financial overseer who reports straight back to their board. The memo even lists candidate names, one of them a former conservatorship accountant who worked the Vegas residency numbers back in the day. People who saw the slide deck swear Lawrence Mestel looked straight at his VP and said, quote, "We didn't buy the catalog to watch it tank on sympathy streams. We bought it for stability." That document is now Exhibit A in the sealed filing Matthew Rosengart is preparing to drop the morning of April 1st, 2 weeks before court, and the text that pulled the next name into the fire. They came straight from Kate Hudson's phone to a Primary Wave vice president named Rachel Goldstein, the same woman Britney hung up on the afternoon of the arrest. The chain, timestamped March 5th at 11:17 p.m., reads from Kate, "She's open to a monitored program if it keeps the deal intact, but only if we keep it out of the press." Rachel replies, "Our board wants it in writing before the talks drops public." Kate's last message, deleted but recovered through forensic pool, says, "I'll get her to sign if Matthew clears the language." That's the guy who's supposed to be protecting her, quietly negotiating a softer cage while pretending to fight for freedom. The betrayal hits different when you realize Kate was the one who pushed the catalog sale in the first place, the one who told her it would be her fresh start money. Now he's texting about monitored programs like it's 2008 all over again. But the real shocker that just surfaced yesterday involves the one person everyone thought was out of the game for good. Felicia Culotta, her longtime friend and former assistant who stood on the courthouse steps in 2021. Screaming "Free Britney" louder than anyone. Felicia went quiet after the termination, moved to Arizona, started a small wellness brand. But the morning after the arrest, she flew into LAX on a red eye, no press, straight to the Thousand Oaks house. A neighbor's security camera caught her car pulling in at 6:42 a.m. March 5th. She stayed 4 hours. When she left, she called Matthew Rosengart from the car, according to the call log that somehow hit a gossip server. The conversation, pieced together from people who heard the voicemail recap, was Felicia saying, quote, "She's scared, but she's clear-headed. The mix was one bad night after the stalker hearing, not a relapse. She wants me to testify if it goes to rehab hearing. Matthew told her to sit tight." But here's where it twists. Felicia also texted Sam Asghari the same day, a chain that just leaked through a mutual trainer in West Hollywood. Sam writes, "I still care, but I can't be the face of this. My new project can't handle the association." Felicia replies, she needs real friends right now, not PR safe access. Sam never answered. That silence from the guy who once slept in the same bed, the guy who helped her pick out the Thousand Oaks furniture, that's the knife that cut deepest in the last 72 hours. Now zoom in on the district attorney's office in Ventura, because Eric Nasarenko is not playing. The same prosecutor who handled high-profile DUIs in the county for years just received Matthew's pre-filing brief. Inside it is the full hospital talks breakdown that finally dropped yesterday under seal but already circulating in legal circles. 0.082 alcohol, lorazepam at therapeutic level, but combined with the trace clonazepam, pushing the drug recognition expert's impairment score to 9 out of 12. Eric's team is debating felony versus misdemeanor, but the memo from his deputy reads, "Given the freeway speeds and the near-miss reports from the 911 callers, we are leaning toward mandatory 30-day inpatient, plus 3 years probation with random screens. No jail time yet, but the monitor clause primary wave once. Could dovetail perfectly with court-ordered supervision. And the judge who might hear it if it escalates, Brenda Penny, the same Superior Court judge who sat on the bench in 2021, the one who finally terminated the original conservatorship after Britney's raw testimony. Brenda Penny is still on the Ventura family law rotation. Insiders at the courthouse swear she's already been briefed in chambers. Because Matthew filed a quiet motion yesterday asking her to take the case if charges stick. The irony is thick enough to choke on. The judge who gave her freedom might now be the one deciding if freedom gets a chaperone. The boys are done staying silent too. Sean Preston and Jaden James met with a child psychologist yesterday afternoon, the one they've seen since the divorce. Sources close to Kevin say the teens drafted a joint letter to Matthew Rosengart that landed in his inbox at 4 p.m. The letter, according to the attorney who read it, says in their own words, "We are old enough to speak for ourselves. Mom fought for us once. Now we fight for her. We support full transparency and no new control." Kevin tried to block it, but the psychologist signed off. That letter is now attached to Matthew's growing file. Jaden even reached out to Felicia Culotta directly, asking if she could be the neutral visitor if any program gets ordered. These 19 and 20-year-old kids who grew up watching their moms' every move dissected on television are stepping up in a way no one saw coming. And the motive from Kevin's side? He met with his own attorney the same day, pushing for an emergency custody review if Britney enters any monitored situation. The paperwork is already drafted, citing the DUI as proof of instability. Another play, another angle, another way the family money machine tries to spin the wheel. The industry revenue projections are the filthiest part nobody wants printed. A leaked slide from a major streaming platform's quarterly meeting last week showed Britney's catalog streams up 47% since the arrest news broke. The heading on the slide? Sympathy bump analysis. The same executives who stayed quiet on Instagram are now projecting an extra 38 million in global plays by May if the court date makes headlines. One anonymous label head texted a colleague, quote, "The darker the story, the bigger the catalog bump. We saw it after the conservatorship testimony. That's the machine in 2026, calculating profit margins of the same woman they once forced into schoolgirl outfits at 17. And the final document that's about to detonate everything, it's not from primary wave, it's from the original conservatorship court file. a sealed psychological evaluation from 2019 that Lou Taylor's team tried to bury forever. Matthew just got it unsealed through a new motion. The eval, written by the court-appointed doctor at the time, states clearly that Britney's issues were situational, caused by control and medication, not inherent instability. The same doctor is now retired in Palm Springs, but he already confirmed to Matthew he will testify if called. That document alone could kill any push for new supervision before it even reaches Brenda Penny's desk. Reconstruct the last 48 hours with me, because this is the part that proves the betrayal is still happening in real time. March 6th. Britney wakes up in Thousand Oaks. No security, no team, just Felicia in the kitchen making coffee. They talk for hours, the kind of talk that only happens when the cameras are finally off. Felicia leaves at noon. Britney calls Matthew at 1:15, voice steady for the first time since the booking. She tells him, "I want the truth out, no more hiding." Matthew spends the afternoon drafting the April 1st filing that will include the primary wave memo, the Kate text, the boy's letter, and the old psych eval. By evening, Eric Nasarenko's office receives the courtesy copy and goes silent. No leaks, no statements. The quiet before the storm. Meanwhile, Sam Asghari is spotted at a gym in Sherman Oaks, headphones on, pretending the texts never happened. Jamie Lynn sends another back-channel message through a cousin, this one reading, "Tell her rehab is not weakness, but she still won't say it publicly." Brian Spears' production company quietly scrapped her name from an old credit on their website. The machine is repositioning one quiet move at a time. The darkest question Hollywood is still hiding, the one that keeps every child star manager awake at night, is simple. If Britney's story proves the system fails twice, once in chains and once in so-called freedom, what happens to the next 15-year-old with a hit single and a broken family? They don't want the answer, they want the streams, they want the catalog bumps, they want the morality clauses that let them profit either way. That's why the silence from the A-list is so loud. That's why the boardrooms are calculating instead of calling. And that's why Matthew Rosengart is about to walk into court with a file so thick it could end the game for good this time. The freeway wasn't the crash, it was the mirror. And the reflection staring back is the entire industry that built her, broke her, cashed the checks, and now pretends to be shocked when the pieces don't fit back together perfectly. But the girl from Kentwood, who survived 13 years of legal hell, isn't going down without the full truth dropping first. And when that April 1st filing hits, when Brenda Penny reads the boy's letter, and the old psych eval, and the primary wave memo, the whole rotten machine might finally feel the same handcuffs it once loved putting on her. This has been the complete, unfiltered timeline. Every text, every memo, every quiet betrayal laid bare. The dispatch audio, the hospital files, the boardroom slides, the family texts, the ex's silence, the sons stepping up, the lawyer fighting like hell. Hollywood can keep hiding, but we just dragged it all into the light. And that's the raw, disgusting truth they never wanted you to hear. Hey, before you click off, if you made it this far, you already know how deep this rabbit hole goes. Smash that subscribe button right now so you never miss when the next buried secret explodes. Drop a like if you want the machine exposed every single week. Tell me in the comments who you want Strange to investigate next. Justin, Christina, or someone still walking around with an NDA the size of their ego. And if you got insider info, leaked texts, court papers, anything that smells like the truth they're trying to bury, send it. Anonymity 100% guaranteed. Contacts are in the description. I read every single one. This is Strange, signing off from the darkest corner of dirty Hollywood. Stay dangerous, stay awake, and remember, they only win if we stay quiet. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.